Hi Sagittarius, welcome to Higher Source Tarot for a tarot reading for all Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Thanks to everybody for all the support. I love and appreciate you all, and I'm glad that we have spent another year together. And if you're new here, welcome. I post new readings on Friday, then again on Monday. So if a reading doesn't fit, just come back in a couple of days. You can watch a new reading. Fridays are always a general reading, so today's reading will bring in aspects of money, career, love, and everything in between. Mondays are different every week, so you're just going to have to check back on that. I will have a 2023 yearly predictive reading coming out in December, but again, you'll have to check back. But you could also, if you like tarot and like the channel, subscribe and hit that bell to be notified, and then you'll know when that one's out. So, what advice do you have for Sagittarius? Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. What does Sagittarius need to know, please, for the best and highest good of all concerned with Sagittarius? Messages for Sagittarius, please. We will start here with the tarot, and then we'll have the angel answers. You have here the Nine of Wands, the Empress, the Knight of Pentacles. I like the yellow I'm seeing. The Queen of Pentacles, the Queen of Cups. Very nice. You've got the Five of Swords, the Nine of Swords, and the Four of Cups. Well, I do feel like they're trying to tell you have needless worry. If you have a conflict, I do see somebody coming back around with an apology. And I feel like it's totally going to be up to you, of course, in terms of accepting that. But I still feel like there's tension. Now, it could also be their energy, this Nine of Swords. Somebody here is worried about it. I also feel like somebody's kind of got a decision hanging in the balance. I hear that too. But I will say with this, you have something really lovely showing up here. You know, the Queen of Pentacles and the Queen of Cups flanking this Empress energy. You know, the Empress is technically higher than a queen, okay? She's nobility. They all are. But we've got here that master of manifesting, money, the physical body, and also that really great life. So I do feel like they're trying to tell you have a big shift coming in for the better. Somebody here, it's financial gain, but others, though, I do feel like there's either a mending of a relationship or a mending of a broken heart, and there's going to be somebody new coming in. So with this Nine of Wands, you have two nines here, so they're trying to tell you that you have a new cycle. And whatever this is that you're exiting, I'm sure you're going to be glad about that. The Nine of Wands and the Nine of Swords together is not a fun combination if you've been stuck in that cycle. And what it feels like to me is somebody's been putting in a lot of effort, a lot of focus, a lot of drive, and even financial investment. I get that too. For not enough in return. You know, it's like, okay, enough is enough. I'm sick of this. But with this Nine of Wands, I do feel like ultimately, and if it was a relationship too, that ended, because I get heartbreak for somebody here. They were your very best teacher. Whoever it is that you were learning from was put in your life to give you this lesson. And so I do feel like you're done with the lesson, so it's not going to keep reappearing. But with this Nine of Wands, it's a bit exhausting, and so is that Nine of Swords. So ultimately, though, there is a completion, a realization here, and an accomplishment that comes through. So the Empress energy is, again, I mentioned this is nobility. She's, of course, the mother of the tarot. Now, if somebody has been struggling with infertility, and that's what those nines are about, I do feel like there's a baby coming along. Now, that may be for a very select few of you, of course, but ultimately with this, it's a very nurturing, loving kind of energy. She is the mother of the tarot. So some of you too may have a healing energy. And if you were a motherless child, I get that. And again, this is going to be a very small few and maybe only one person here. I do feel like you connect with an energy of somebody who's motherly, or even if it can still be a male, okay, physically male, but somebody who really looks out for you and wants to help you, wants to protect you, sees the good in you, and just provides a lot of nurturing energy. It does not feel, though, that particular, what I'm talking about there, does not feel like a significant other. Okay, it feels more like a boss or a neighbor or somebody in that role. Okay, I just get it as just a warm kind of nurturing energy. But in terms of this too, There's very much an unconditional, kind, loving energy, but it's also you sitting in your power. So those of you, like I said, that you put in a lot, again, you're going to get a better return out of things than you've been getting. And so this is the perception of you. So for some of you, if you meet somebody, and I get more like a meeting in the near future, by the time you're into the spring with this, it's like you'll be saying, what happened in November and December? I don't even remember, because this is about development. It's robust, it's flourishing. And so if it was a job too, so like I said, some of you, this feels financial. I do feel like you have a new offer coming in, and with the Knight of Queen of Pentacles coming in, and this together, it's definitely an increase in money. Or if there was a situation with a house where you felt like you've put in a lot of effort and just not getting the return, I do feel like, and it may be springtime by the time that comes around. So somebody here may take a break. And I get it with that Four of Cups, especially like, I'm taking a break from this and I'm going to come back at it later. My energy is not in alignment with this. It's been just, again, somebody putting in a lot, but I do see this becoming successful. So, with this too, like I said, it's people around you as well having the best interest of you. And it's a card of threes signify synthesis and harmony. And so with this too, it's definitely going to be in a time of expansion and a time of love for somebody. So I mentioned for some of you, if you meet somebody new, and the intentions are long term. Now this one starts off slow, right? He gets his eye on the prize. He gets clear about what he wants, but he is about to take off. So this is not stagnant energy as much as it's preparation. I always say with this one, you don't have to go into the calendar trying to find the next Mercury retrograde so you can redo it. It's getting it right the first time. And I also feel like too, those of you that say, yes, it's a housing thing, or even with a job situation, saying I've got to take a break from something and go into and kind of recharge and go back into it. Or if it was even for somebody, if you're on a layoff and getting unemployment, I do see a new opportunity coming in. So if you've already been on that break. And I also see though, into the spring, if it's that situation, you'll be employed, but then it'll get even better in the spring. So there's going to be growth and expansion. And so with this Queen of Pentacles, she is a wonderful queen to have showing up here for money or in terms of love, and it's stability in all areas. She does spin straw to gold. So I do feel like somebody here may have some extra financial opportunities. If you're into consignment too, you may find that all of a sudden it becomes this sort of exciting opportunity where you're selling things left and right. But others of you with this, it may be a different kind of opportunity or draw where there's overtime or extra things you can consult on and get a little bit of bonus money at your discretion. But either way with this, I do feel like she comes in after a difficult period. But this in terms of, like I said, overall manifesting and stability is great. Also great for those of you that it's a house that you've been talking about and saying, I put a lot into it. This is where things take a change for the better. Very meticulous energy. So there may be a bit of a perfectionistic, not settling. And what I like about that for you is you're not going to walk away in a slump feeling defeated, like, well, yeah, we're finally done with this, but it's not what I asked for. It's not nearly what I want. With this, you say, this is spot on. This is perfect, because she doesn't settle for anything but perfection. So with the Queen of Cups, I do feel like you have a new love interest like we talked about. You have a very nurturing energy around you. So it may begin with, like we talked about earlier, a boss figure or a neighbor or somebody who just kind of looks out for you. And I'm telling you that energy is going to grow for you, Sagittarius. So for some, you're going to attract an absolute confidant. And this is an energy of following your intuition. So being very in tune to that, not dismissing it, not talking yourself back out of it. This is also a card of self-care though, because she tends to do and do and do for others without taking care of herself. So those of you that are really feeling those nines and saying, my God, I've been living that, they're really trying to tell you it's time to put yourself number one on the list. It is not selfish because you can't give away what you don't have. So in order to be available for others and of service and all that good kind of stuff, you have to have it first. So that Five of Swords is a change. Again, I do feel like you're leaving a conflict, you're leaving something that has not taken the turn the way you thought it might have. But with this, I don't feel like you're going to look back. I feel like you move on and say that was a lesson. I see it now. Next time I'll see it coming and I won't engage. I won't be in that situation again. But with this Five of Swords, ultimately you are the victor because you're going to move on to something better. So staying with something that has not been working, it is showing making a move on to something else. Well, this Nine of Swords is also a card of protection, but the black in the card is contrast, but it's also too ignorance to some extent. So I do feel like you're going to get information that makes I hear irrevocable, like some kind of a decision that you say, I can't go back to that. So if it was a job and it actually was a termination or something where I mentioned before a layoff and they do recall you or call you back, I see you as moving on to something else and saying, I'm not going to go back to that, is what they keep saying. So I do feel like there was a turning point here, but it is ultimately going to be for the better. Now with this Four of Cups too, I mentioned before, you may have opportunities or offers that come in, but it's like, why settle for the rest when you're going to have the best? There's no point in even messing with it, especially if that Queen of Cups is telling you, I know this hasn't changed. They're trying to tell you to move on to something new here. So let's see here, Sagittarius, what the angels have to say. Messages for Sagittarius, please. Advice for Sagittarius. What else does Sagittarius need to know? Ask your angels, all right? Ask and they will tell you. They want to give you guidance and interact with you. You've got a peaceful resolution. I mentioned that in the beginning. There is healing energy here around. And I also, like I said, I feel like with relationships, it's something that seems to evolve all the way into the spring is what I'm getting. That the springtime is going to be the best time to really see that take off because you have big happy changes forecasted here for the future. In the near future, they say. That's funny. I just said future. How often do I say that? Not very often. They say don't stop, Sagittarius, because you are on the right path. I love you, and I'll be back again soon.